Hello and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever forgotten where you put your car keys or forgotten to call someone back? If yes, don't worry. That is completely normal. We all have those moments. But do you know when forgetting becomes dangerous? When these small memory lapses start interfering with your daily life, that could be one of the early warning signs of Alzheimer's disease. Today, we are going to look at what the top medical experts in the United States have to say about this. We are talking about Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's Chief Medical Correspondent and a practicing neurosurgeon, and Dr. Mehmet Oz, the world-renowned heart surgeon and current administrator of Medicare and Medicaid. Both of these doctors have dedicated their lives to helping seniors live healthier, longer lives. In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 early signs of Alzheimer's that you should never ignore. I will also share a detailed bonus section at the end with 5 prevention tips that Dr. Gupta and Dr. Oz frequently recommend to keep your brain sharp. If you are 50 or older, or if you have parents who are 50 or older, this video is extremely important for you. Make sure you watch until the very end. Let's get started. First, let's understand what Alzheimer's actually is. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. Dementia is a disease where brain cells slowly start to die. Think of it like a garden where the flowers start to wither one by one. This means your memory, your thinking ability, and your decision-making skills become weaker over time. Now you might be wondering, how common is this? Listen to this statistic. Right now in America, 6.7 million people are living with Alzheimer's, and by 2050, that number is expected to reach nearly 13 million. That means every 3 seconds, someone in the world develops Alzheimer's. Dr. Sanjay Gupta often emphasizes that Alzheimer's is not a normal part of aging. It is a disease, and like any disease, early detection is the key to managing it effectively. Unfortunately, 80% of people go to the doctor when it is already too late. Why? Because they don't recognize these early warning signs. But here is the good news. If we can identify these signs early, we can start treatment sooner. We can slow down the progression, and we can improve the quality of life for both the patient and the family. Dr. Oz often says that knowledge is the best medicine. The more you know, the better prepared you are. So let's talk about those 5 warning signs that could indicate early Alzheimer's. Pay close attention because these signs can appear years before the disease is actually diagnosed. Sign number 1, and this is the most common sign: memory loss that disrupts daily life. Do you or someone you love have trouble remembering new information, like a new neighbor's name, or the date of an upcoming appointment, or important events that just happened? It is very important to understand when this is normal and when this could be Alzheimer's. Look, if you occasionally forget someone's name but remember it later in the day, that is normal. We call this age-related memory loss. It happens because our brains process information a little slower as we get older. But here is where it becomes a red flag. If you forget your own son's wedding date, or you put your car keys in the refrigerator, or you place your wallet in the freezer and can never find them again, that is an alarming sign. This is not just a simple slip. This is the brain struggling to store and retrieve information. Dr. Sanjay Gupta explains that Alzheimer's usually starts in the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain responsible for forming new memories. When this area is damaged, the brain cannot store new information properly. So even if you tell someone something repeatedly, their brain simply cannot hold on to it. And most importantly, If someone is asking the same question over and over again, like what day is it today, or have I eaten yet, and they don't remember asking it just 5 minutes ago, that could be pointing toward Alzheimer's. Remember, if this memory loss starts disrupting your daily routine, like it becomes hard to go to work, or you forget how to operate simple household appliances, this is not something to ignore. If you or someone you love is experiencing this, please see a doctor. Early detection is the first step toward better management. Now let's move to sign number 2. Challenges in planning or problem solving. Alzheimer's doesn't just affect memory, it also affects your ability to plan, organize, and solve problems. Think about your daily routine. You wake up, you make coffee, you plan your day. These are executive functions controlled by the frontal lobe of your brain. For example, if someone is having trouble following a recipe they have made many times before, or they are confused about paying their monthly bills, or they cannot balance their checkbook anymore, these are warning signs. Now, it is completely normal to make occasional mistakes with calculations, like when you are calculating your grocery bill or splitting a dinner check. We all do that. But if someone forgets how to make their favorite dish that they have been cooking for 30 years, or they cannot understand their monthly budget anymore, and this never happened before, that is a serious warning signal. Dr. Mehmet Oz often points out that the brain is like a muscle. When certain areas stop working properly, other areas try to compensate. But in Alzheimer's, the frontal lobe gradually loses its ability to function. Simple things like following a board game, keeping track of monthly expenses, or even planning a family dinner become overwhelming. And the most dangerous part, if someone forgets when to take their medicines, or they cannot remember which medicine to take at what time, that can become very serious. Taking the wrong dose or missing a dose can lead to other health emergencies. Why does this happen? Alzheimer's affects the frontal lobe of the brain. This is the part that controls planning, decision-making, and problem-solving. When this weakens, even simple things start feeling impossible. If this is happening to you, you can use a pill organizer. You can set daily alarms on your phone, or ask a family member to help you keep track of your medicines. But most importantly, talk to your doctor. Do not wait until it gets worse. Sign number 3. Difficulty completing familiar tasks. This sign is very common and often goes unnoticed because we think the person is just being lazy or forgetful. But it is much more than that. Do you feel like someone you know is having trouble with their daily tasks? Like driving to a familiar grocery store, or using the phone, or even using the TV remote that they have used for years? Now look, if someone finds it hard to use a brand new smartphone or a new computer, that is completely normal. Technology is difficult for everyone, especially as it keeps changing. But if someone forgets how to use their 10-year-old TV remote, or they get lost on a road they have driven for 20 years to go to work, that could be a sign of Alzheimer's. This is because the brain's parietal lobe, which handles spatial awareness and familiar sequences, is being affected. And here is a very common example, using the washing machine. If someone has been using the same washing machine for 20 years, and suddenly they forget which button to press, or they forget how to start the cycle, that is a clear sign that something is wrong in the brain. Dr. Sanjay Gupta often advises families to look for these subtle changes. He says that a person with early Alzheimer's might start avoiding their favorite hobbies because they are too complex. For example, a person who loved knitting might forget how to knit. A person who loved woodworking might forget how to use their tools safely. Why does this happen? Alzheimer's affects the parietal lobe of the brain. This part stores memories of familiar activities and sequences. When this gets affected, simple tasks like making tea, operating the microwave, or getting clothes stitched become very difficult. If you are seeing this in someone you love, be patient and kind. Anger or frustration will only make things worse. They are not doing this on purpose. Their brain is physically changing. And yes, please see a doctor immediately. Sign number 4. Confusion with time or place. This one is very confusing for both the patient and the family. It is heartbreaking to watch someone you love lose track of where they are. Does someone you know have trouble understanding the day, date, or season? Do they get lost in familiar neighborhoods? Do they forget how they got to a certain place? Look, if someone occasionally forgets what day it is but remembers after checking the calendar, that is normal. We all lose track of time sometimes. But if someone cannot tell whether it is morning or evening, or they cannot understand the difference between summer and winter, or they start wearing winter clothes in the middle of summer, that is a sign of Alzheimer's. And the saddest part, some Alzheimer's patients want to go to their old house or their old school because they think they still live there. They have lost the concept of time and place. They might think they are 20 years old and their parents are still alive. Dr. Mehmet Oz describes this as the brain's internal GPS system failing. Our brains have special cells called place cells and grid cells that help us navigate our environment. When these cells die, a person literally cannot tell where they are, even if they are standing in their own living room. And this can become very dangerous, because if someone leaves the house and forgets how to come back, they can get lost. In America, more than 50,000 Alzheimer's patients get lost every single year. Many of them suffer injuries or worse because they cannot find their way home. That is why, if you have an Alzheimer's patient at home, always make them wear an ID bracelet with their name, address, and emergency contact number. You can also use a GPS tracking device that attaches to their clothing or shoes. Some families even install door alarms so that they are alerted if a loved one tries to leave the house at night. And if this confusion is happening to you or someone you love, please see a doctor immediately. This is a clear and obvious sign of Alzheimer's and should never be ignored. And here we are at sign number 5. New problems with words or vision. This is very important and often overlooked because we assume it is just an eye problem, but it can actually be a brain problem. Alzheimer's does not just affect memory and thinking, it also affects your vision and your language skills. Let's talk about language first. Do you ever struggle to find the right word? Like that thing in the kitchen that you use to eat soup, a spoon. If this happens occasionally, it is normal. It is called the tip of the tongue phenomenon. But if someone forgets simple words like spoon, fork, or cup, or they stop in the middle of a conversation and cannot complete their sentence, that could be Alzheimer's. For example, if someone wants to say, "I am drinking water," but they say that thing you drink from, that is a language processing problem. Their brain cannot retrieve the correct word from the memory bank. Sanjay Gupta explains that this happens because the temporal lobe, which processes language, is being damaged. It is not that the person is confused, it is that the pathway to the word is blocked. And now let's talk about vision. Alzheimer's can affect the occipital lobe of the brain, which controls vision. Because of this, someone might have trouble reading, or they might have problems with colors and contrast. Look, when we cross 40, our eye lens becomes stiff. That is why we have trouble reading small print. This is normal. It is called presbyopia. You just need reading glasses. But if someone has trouble judging distance, like they cannot see how far the stairs are, or they cannot judge how far a chair is while sitting down, that could be Alzheimer's. They might reach for a glass of water and miss it completely because their depth perception is off. And if someone starts skipping words while reading, or they cannot recognize letters anymore, or they cannot distinguish between black and white, that is also a warning sign. Remember, Alzheimer's kills brain cells, and when the visual processing areas of the brain are affected, even if the eyes are perfectly healthy, the person cannot see properly. That is why they might have trouble driving, even if their vision test is perfect. That is why, if you have vision problems, you should not just see an eye doctor, but also a neurologist. Do not assume it is just old age. So these were the 5 early signs of Alzheimer's, according to leading experts like Dr. Sanjay Gupta and Dr. Mehmet Oz. But now, you might be wondering, is there a cure? Can we prevent this? The truth is, there is no sure-shot cure for Alzheimer's yet. But here is the good news. Research shows that we can delay it significantly, and we can reduce the risk by up to 40%. Dr. Mehmet Oz often says that the best treatment for Alzheimer's is prevention. Here are 5 detailed prevention tips that can help you reduce your risk of Alzheimer's. These are recommendations that both Dr. Gupta and Dr. Oz strongly support. Prevention tip number 1. Exercise regularly. Dr. Sanjay Gupta calls exercise the single most powerful tool we have to protect our brain. You should do at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise every week. That is just 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. What counts as moderate exercise? Fast walking, swimming, cycling, or even light jogging. The idea is to get your heart rate up. When you exercise, your heart pumps more blood to your brain. This blood carries oxygen and nutrients that help brain cells grow and survive. But it is not just about cardio. You should also do strength training twice a week. This means lifting light weights or doing resistance bands. Building muscle helps regulate blood sugar and reduces inflammation, both of which are linked to Alzheimer's. Dr. Oz recommends simple exercises like squats, wall push-ups, and leg raises, which can easily be done at home without any equipment. Both Dr. Gupta and Dr. Oz strongly recommend the MIND diet. This stands for Mediterranean-Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. Studies show that people who follow this diet have a 53% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's. So what does this diet include? You should eat plenty of green leafy vegetables like spinach and kale. You should eat berries, especially blueberries, which are rich in antioxidants. You should eat nuts, beans, whole grains and fish, particularly fatty fish like salmon and sardines, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. You should also use olive oil as your primary cooking oil. And just as important, here is what you should avoid: red meat, butter, cheese, pastries and fried foods. These foods cause inflammation in the body and can damage your blood vessels, which directly affects your brain. Prevention tip number 3. Keep your brain stimulated. Dr. Sanjay Gupta often says, use it or lose it. Your brain needs exercise just like your muscles. Engage in activities that challenge your mind. Do crossword puzzles, Sudoku or jigsaw puzzles. Read books on new subjects. Learn a new language. Take up a musical instrument. The harder the challenge, the better it is for your brain. When you learn something new, your brain creates new neural pathways. This is called neuroplasticity. It is your brain's way of rewiring itself. Even something as simple as taking a different route to the grocery store can stimulate your brain. Prevention tip number 4. Stay socially connected. This is a massive factor that many people overlook. Social isolation is a huge risk factor for Alzheimer's. Dr. Mehmet Oz emphasizes that humans are social creatures. When we isolate ourselves, our brains become stressed and inflamed, so make an effort to stay connected. Call your friends regularly, visit your family, join a local senior center or a walking group, volunteer at a local charity. Even joining a book club or a religious gathering can make a huge difference. Having strong social connections keeps your mind engaged and reduces the harmful effects of stress and depression. It gives your brain a purpose and a reason to stay healthy. And finally, prevention tip number 5. Prioritize quality sleep. This is perhaps the most underrated prevention tip. You need 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night. During deep sleep, your brain actually clears out toxins. There is a system in the brain called the glymphatic system that works like a pressure washer, cleaning out the waste that builds up during the day. One of these waste products is something called beta amyloid, which forms the plaques that are found in Alzheimer's patients. If you do not get enough sleep, these plaques build up and cause damage. Poor sleep can increase your Alzheimer's risk by up to 30%. To improve your sleep, avoid screens and blue light at least 1 hour before bed. Keep your bedroom dark and cool. Establish a regular sleep routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Remember, these tips do not give you a 100% guarantee, but according to decades of research and experts like Dr. Sanjay Gupta and Dr. Mehmet Oz, they definitely reduce your risk. And most importantly, if you notice any of these 5 signs, please see a doctor as soon as possible. Do not delay. Early detection saves lives. So that was today's video. 5 early signs of Alzheimer's you should never ignore. Let's do a quick recap. Sign number 1, memory loss that disrupts daily life. Sign number 2, challenges in planning or problem solving. Sign number 3, difficulty completing familiar tasks. Sign number 4, confusion with time or place. And sign number 5, new problems with words or vision. If you found this video informative, please hit that like button. If you have someone over 50 in your life, share this video with them. This could actually save someone's life. Remember, the more people know about these signs, the better. And if you have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. Because every week we bring you informative health videos just like this one, featuring insights from the top doctors in America. In the comments below, let me know which of these 5 signs surprised you the most, and have you ever noticed any of these signs in someone you know? Your experience could help someone else in our community. Finally, take care of yourself and your loved ones. Stay healthy, stay informed, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.